Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. I want to take you to an interview, a Citizen TV interview, where Yvonne Okwara had invited Jimmy Wanjigi. Now, the topic there was about ODIOUS debt. Now, there's something there that Jimmy Wanjigi mentioned there, which sounded to be like a warning. Now, Jimmy Wanjigi warned John MBADI to be very careful lest he append his signature on illegal debts.
What do you think then of his chances at Treasury? Will he solve the problems that
No, he cannot.
you have?
He cannot. He cannot. They are too deep. In fact, I'm watching him. Next week, he's supposed to sign his first actual statements of revenue and expenditure. Gazette notice by the 16th. If he signs that notice, that Gazette notice, and he accepts something called ODIOUS debt, he has fallen into the trap.
So there's also something here that Jimmy Wanjigi has shared on his X. And he has shared a map of Africa continents. You can just check on your screen there. This is a map, and you can see countries on green are countries which have taken loans from IMF. Now, these other countries that seems to be like Libya, for example. You see Libya has a goldish color. Libya has taken zero loan. Then there's another country here. I want to share with you all these countries. There's a country like Botswana. Botswana has taken zero loan from IMF. Now, why am I sharing that? There are figures which have been included. There is, for example, like this is Kenya. Just take a look at this. This is Kenya. Kenya has $4.1 billion. That is the amount of loan that has been taken from IMF. That's why you wonder why all of a sudden IMF is always focused on Kenya. You see, for example, Uganda. Let me just go to Uganda. Uganda has taken $1.72 billion. In a nutshell, if you sum up the loans of Uganda and Tanzania, we get 3.5. If you include the loan of Somalia, you now get $4 billion. That is amounting to the loan that Kenya only has taken from IMF. So this explains why Jimmy Wanjigi is warning John MBADI to be very careful whenever he wants to sign all those documents which will be presented to him on payment of debts. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to go extensively into this analysis. There's a video that I'll share with you on that interview. There is also something that I've gotten from IMF website talking about ODIOUS debt. So before we get further on this analysis, please like this video. It's so important. If you like this video, I'm so grateful for everyone who has been liking our videos. I don't take that for granted. Subscribe to our channel if you've not subscribed before, and to existing subscribers, thank you so much for your support. Jimmy Wanjigi has been hell-bent in making sure that this government, especially the Ruto government, right now is the Ruto government. We understand there's a time, the first quarter, or the first half of the first term of Uhuru's government. Also, Jimmy Wanjigi came out clear and talked about loans. Now, one would easily wonder why Jimmy Wanjigi is all of a sudden making a lot of noise and even going to an extent of warning John MBADI. You would think that Jimmy Wanjigi is jealous of the fact that John MBADI is the person who has been given that docket of a CS for finance. But that's not the case. Let me take you to something here from IMF website. There's something here that IMF has talked about. But first, watch this video from Jimmy Wanjigi.
Will he solve the problems that
No, he cannot.
you have?
He cannot. He cannot. They are too deep. In fact, I'm watching him. Next week, he's supposed to sign his first actual statements of revenue and expenditure. Gazette notice by the 16th. If he signs that notice, that Gazette notice, and he accepts something called ODIOUS debt, he has fallen into the trap. Careful what the Treasury officials ask him to sign. Very careful. If they even tell him this is normal, they are lying to him. It's a criminal enterprise, that Treasury. It is fraught with unconstitutionality and criminality, so entrenched and so deep and so far-reaching. I can tell you, Yvonne, if there was anyone to fear, forget William Ruto. The fear is, what are those forces that have taken trillions from us and are still are? Who are those forces? Those are the ones you should be saying I should be fearing, because it's a criminal mafia beyond your imagination.
Now, the truth of the matter, especially if you go to IMF's website and then you go to the column on finance and development, there's an article there. They say that many developing countries are carrying debt incurred by rulers who borrowed without the people's consent and use the funds either to repress the people or for personal gain. A new approach is warranted to prevent dictators from running up debts, looting their countries, and passing on their debts to the population. That is an article on IMF website. Now, there are some regimes that IMF has listed there, and the rulers of those regimes, they have listed those people who took advantage of their citizens to, take money from IMF and enrich themselves. So, for example, there is a apartheid government of South Africa was widely condemned by the international community because they spent on police and military to repress the African majority. Again, the African majority ended up shouldering that huge burden. Now, you also understand that there is Mobutu Sese Seko here, the former president of Congo, formerly Zaire, who is thought to have appropriated $4 billion to personal accounts and enriched cronies. Let me take you to another one, Sani Abacha of Nigeria. You remember the story of Sani Abacha. Sani Abacha is reportedly that he held $2 billion in Swiss bank accounts in 1999. Imagine that is 1999. So those are some of the examples which IMF has listed on their website. If you go to IMF website, you will definitely on the column of on finance and development, that is what IMF is saying. Now, this issue that Jimmy Wanjigi is bringing on board, I think it's in line with what people are saying. Majority of Kenyans think that John Mbadi needs to be very careful, because hiyo docket amechukua, hiyo docket ni docket hatari. Ni docket hatari, because now just a day after the unofficial handing over, you saw what happened. There was a meeting between him and IMF representative in Kenya. Now, what Jimmy Wanjigi has showcased in his in form of a map, this kind of map. This map is saying that Kenya has taken $4.1 billion. If you sum the East African loans from Tanzania, loan from Uganda, if you combine the two loans, those loans you get 3.5, you're still not at 4. If you combine with the loan of Somalia, which is at $484 million, that's now when now you have $4 billion, So this is, there's a country here that has taken, let me just look for okay, let me just check. Imagine, according to this map from Jimmy Wanjigi, we have taken more than South Africa. And if you compare our economy and South Africa's economy, South Africa's economy iko juu. Now, let's go to Nigeria. Nigeria has taken $2.5 billion. Again, almost we have taken almost twice of Nigeria's. Let me go to a country like I want to look at Egypt. Oh, Egypt has taken 15 billion. Okay, maybe because of some issues there. I want to look for a country that is doing well. Algeria. Are we far between Algeria and Kenya economically? Okay, well, fine. Let me settle for the last one. I want to locate a country here. Okay, let's just say that our loans surpass loans of 3 East Africa countries, Tanzania combined with Uganda and Somalia. We are still ahead. When you sum all of the loans they took from IMF, ours is still ahead. Do we have anything to show for that? I think this is what Jimmy Wanjigi is talking about, that our development does not correspond to the loans taken. That is Jimmy Wanjigi's concern. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what kind of advice can you give John Mbadi in the wake of this realization, this tweet from Jimmy Wanjigi? You know, Jimmy Wanjigi has just said, enslave us. You know, he said enslave us and posted that map. So what kind of advice can you give John Mbadi in the wake of this realization? Now, perhaps if you're watching this video and have not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.